you have settled down, just place your hands on the that will be the signal for me to start. Because I personally feel the most sacred place in the world is the classroom. It's more sacred than the altar of God. And when you enter the classroom, there must be a transformation in your personality today. A metamorphosis. Because the job of a teacher is to transmit the cosmic energy. Please remember that. The job of a teacher is to transmit the cosmic energy. And therefore, absolute tranquility, sanctity needs to be maintained. No. I will not speak to you about the other aspects of national education policy, though the topic assigned to me is the transformative vision. It will just make you understand the difference between sight and vision. All of us have sight, eyesight, but how many of us have vision? Because sight has something to do with the eye only. Vision has something to do with the mind. Here, read or studied Mahabharata. When Lord Krishna appears in his full grandeur, now, King Dhritarashtra says, give me a vision so that I can see your full flame. Because it will be my bliss. Then Krishna says, I was always with you. I was near you. Only thing is, you did not have the insight to see me. You had only the sight which was made. And for people who have the insight, for people who have the vision, I always take Krishna a manifestation. Okay? Because as Vivekananda said, once Vivekananda was asked a question, Swamiji, you daily see goddess Kali Mata. We are ordinary mortals. Can you show us, can you tell us how goddess Kali looks like? Now, Swamiji said, there is no God. Who said there is goddess? It's all the imagination. Okay? But then he did not stop there. He comes out with a beautiful sentence. A perfect human being is God, and the imperfect God is human being. Follow very carefully. Perfect human being is God, and the imperfect God is human being. And education is that removes those imperfections. That's the reason why it says education is the manifestation of a perfection. Therefore, who is God? Perfect human being is a God. And all the teachers are on the holy mission of removing the imperfections in human beings so that they become gods. And such a divine mission requires you to take cognizance of the fact that the most sacred place in the world is the classroom. I always go down before I enter the classroom. And for that you require to have vision, inner sight, with the mind. So vision has something to do with the mind. But remember, to have vision, you need to have open mind. The first quality that a teacher requires is to have open mind. Amartya Sen, you must have heard his name, Nobel laureate. the wonderful sense of humor, was always fond of comparing India and China, two of the giants in Asian continent, and said, China has made rapid progress. It's almost number one in the world now. But China is autocracy. Would you kindly close the gates, please? Please close the gates. China is autocracy. And therefore you had famine in China in 1960s and 70s during the height of Cultural Revolution. Because people were afraid to share the news with Chairman Mao. But India did not have a famine after Bengal famine. Bengal famine during British Raj, and that shows India is a vibrant democracy. And he praised India. A journalist asked him a question. You always say India is a democracy, but why is that China is progressing so fast and India is not progressing so fast? You know the answer given? This is very important for our mission. He said, Chinese society is an authoritarian setup. That means it is a closed society. Indian society is a democratic society. That means it is an open society. But the problem is, Indian society is an open society with a closed mind. Chinese society is a closed society with an open mind. And because they have open minds, they are able to prosper. And it is the job of a teacher to convert the closed mind into an open mind. One philosopher defined education as that. Education is that which converts an empty mind into open mind. Education is that which converts an empty mind into open mind. Therefore, when I have been asked to speak to you about a vision in transformation because of national education policy, I would say only one thing. Prior to national education policy of 2020, we had a number of education policies, starting with the Kothari Commission, I did not tell you all those things. You have a lot of information, including the one in 1980s. But this is the first policy that focuses not only on globalization, not only on multidisciplinary universities, not only on focusing experiential learning, but two important aspects of this national education policy are rooted in constitutional values, number one. Number two, ethical development. Number three, tech-driven society. I will be focusing on these three. Number one, rooted in constitutional values, there it gives the examples of democracy, rule of law, then human rights and justice. Here, friends, please remember, you must have studied rule of law, right, from your NLU days. As a teacher, you must be teaching rule of law. You're speaking about dicey, you'll be speaking about but your job doesn't stop there. You must tell the students, rule of law must be cultivated as a way of life. Rule of law must be cultivated as a way of life. Whatever you do in life, you must remember about rule of law. Because as Devashish Chatterjee, the director of IIM, one of my close friends, he wrote a book. In that book, he said, what you mean by rule of law being cultivated as a way of life? You know, beautifully in one sentence he says, you cannot be an Alexander at work and chimpanzee at home. He says you cannot be an Alexander at work and chimpanzee at home. There cannot be double standards in your life. Remember, the relationships you have at home. Remember, you must cultivate way of life. When you speak to your child, you must remember rule of law and the way of life. But normally what we do is, in any relationship, maybe man and woman relationship is natural. But unfortunately we structure it. We put it in a hierarchical position. Okay? Parent-child relationship is natural, but we put it in structure. How many of you, with a courage of conviction, tell me, have you spoken to your child by understanding this question? Are you talking to your child or are you talking with your child? My question is, are you talking to your child or are you talking with your child? 99% of us, we talk to the child. When we talk to the child, you arrogate to yourself a sense of superiority. And likewise, when you talk to your spouse, you talk to the spouse, you never talk to the spouse. When you talk to the student in the classroom, you talk to the student but never talk to the student. Agree? Always cultivate the habit of talking with human beings. That's what you mean by rule of law, not Dicey's expression. Have you understood it? Why are you bothered about Dicey's definition of rule of law? When you are not able to cultivate the rule of law as a way of life. So, when national education policy speaks about constitutional values, rooted in justice, it uses the word. Now, what do you mean by justice? Please tell me. How do you look at justice? Amartya Sen says, it is very easy to say what is injustice. You agree? All of you in one voice say, sir, it is unjust. But suppose I ask you the immediate question, okay, I agree it is injustice. What is justice? Can you tell me?
Sir, justice is to deliver one what he owes according to the capacity of the society.
Pardon?
Justice is to deliver one what he owes from the society.
Table noise, yes.
Justice is to deliver one what he owes from the society. So it is kind of contextual.
Yes. I appreciate that. What you have said is true enough, but not enough of the truth. I explain to you. Amartya Sen's idea of justice, you must have heard about the book at least. Okay? I will tell you the gist of the book in 2 minutes so that you can easily understand how difficult it is to answer the question what is justice. In Amartya Sen's, the idea of justice, he comes with a bamboo fruit. Okay? This is a bamboo fruit. There are 3 characters. Am I audible if I come here? Because that will make things really easy. If you can define 3 girls say, we make an appeal to the class, consider our claims and give this fruit to me. The first one comes. She says, Bhakti is an accident. Nobody knows whether you will be born to Dhirubhai Ambani's son or to a pavement dweller. And this accident called birth has deprived me of access to all the good things in life. Remember, friends, poor people are poor not because they have no money, but because they have no access to good things in life. Okay? They don't have access to institutions, they don't have access to, okay? And she says, as a child, I was not given even a small toy to play. Okay? Even I was not sure of my next meal. We talk about the next New Year. But how many Indians are talking about the next meal? Have you understood? For them, 2026 doesn't make any difference. Agree? They are bothered about the next lunch. They are bothered about the next dinner. Okay? And therefore she says, I have been deprived of all the things. At least give me this flute, I will play with it. The entire class was so moved by the plight of the girl, they said, we will hand over this flute to her. The second girl says, yes, okay, we'll give the flute, but listen to me also. He says, do you know, I have gone into the forest. I did research for more than 1 year to find out the quality bamboo. I found out the quality bamboo. Then, with my expertise, I carved a flute out of the bamboo after working hard for 1 year. So this is the result of my 2 years hard work. Now, first girl is food. You give her something else, but why should you give this flute? This flute is mine. Immediately the entire class says, yes sir, we'll give the flute to her. We'll give something else too. We'll take, raise some money, we'll give. Then the third one says, I appreciate both. But the third one says, if you give flute to them, they will play with it and they will destroy it. I am the most favorite disciple of Hari Prasad Chaurasia. Okay, I know how to play the flute. If you give flute to me, I will become cultural ambassador of the country. I will keep the flag of nation pride aloft. And the entire class says, we'll give the flute to her, sir. We'll do something else. In this context, what is justice and what is injustice? Amarka says it's been answered. What is justice and what is injustice? It all depends on how you look at it. And he names those three characters, Bob, Carla, and Anne. You're looking at the smartphone, I saw it. Okay. Bob, Carla, and Anne. Okay. Now, this is another thing. A good teacher must maintain, like a mother, the eye contact with all the students in the class. How does a mother maintain the eye contact? Even if you don't express, she will say, Beta, you need this. What is the gift that she has? And a teacher also should have eye contact with all. That will never happen if you depend and become a slave to PowerPoint presentations. PowerPoint presentations are meant to help engineering teachers and natural and physical sciences teachers to save time by not drawing the diagrams. They've just put it in 2 minutes and said this. But unfortunately, our younger generation of teachers, they are falling into the trap of preparing slides, coming with PowerPoint presentations, and looking at wristwatches just to consume 40 minutes in the classroom to read the slides, without caring to see whether the students are using smartphones or playing some games. So what we require is not PowerPoint presentations, but powerful presentations. That will happen. Remember, when you use technology as a tool, but don't become a slave to technology. I'll come to that aspect later. In my days, we used to have overhead projector, OHP, you must have heard about it. And you know, my professor used to say, only those teachers will make use of OHP, but if they don't have anything over their head. If you don't have anything over your head, you can need the OHP. Why am I telling you youngsters things? Even crime starts as a fashion and ends as a habit. Sutherland says in the book of Criminals in the first sentence, crime starts as a fashion and ends as a habit. Making PowerPoint presentations also start as a fashion and they end as a habit. Before it ends as a habit, get out of it. Prepare powerful presentations. So now coming back to the question, what is justice? In order to understand what justice is, what Amartya Sen says is, you must go beyond the text to the context to understand what is justice. Follow it very carefully. Text to context. And I've used this expression deliberately. What I mean is, for a teacher also, text must be only a pretext. And when he embarks upon the journey of teaching, he must move from text to context to explain the concepts to students. Now, this is what you mean by rule of law, nothing else. This is what you mean by doing justice. Before you talk about preamble, aspirations of justice, social, economic, political, okay, think about justice in the classroom first. What is that we are doing as teachers? Because NEP may have come out with lofty objectives, but the ultimate foot soldiers are you. If NEP is to deliver goods, we have to deliver goods in the classroom at the micro level. And that is where a teacher needs to cultivate that habit. Now you understand? First thing is justice, the second thing is duty. The third point that I made is about human rights. You know, the best definition of human rights I've come across is they have just changed the words. The right to be human is a human right. Nothing more than that. You need not go to section 3 or section 2 of Protection of Human Rights Act to define human rights as life, liberty, dash, dash, dash. That's all bookish. Ask yourself the question. You are in the classroom to spread the human rights culture, to spread the human rights ethos. And when I say human rights culture, understand the basic difference between culture and civilization. Civilization is what we do. Culture is what we are. Civilization is what we do. Culture is what we are. So all civilized persons need not be cultured persons. You agree with me? All civilized persons, you have lot of the gene bad, etc. Shooting 20% sleep. That I may be belong with my brain. Remember. So human rights will have locomotion. Not only when they have eloquent spokespersons, not only when they are soldiers, but when you have human rights culture. So in the classroom, you must study human rights culture. And just tell them, human rights means right to be human. Ask them the question, how many human beings are you treating in a human way? How many human beings are you treating in an inhuman way? How many human beings are you treating in a subhuman way? Starting from your domain, starting from your domestic help. Remember, because human rights are nurtured and nourished at home. Please remember that. That's human rights. That's the reason why Swami Vivekananda beautifully said, what is education? You know what he says? Education is that bridges the distance between a human being and being human. What? Education is that bridges the distance between a human being and being human. We are all human beings. I agree. But how many of us are being human? See what NLP says, nothing more than that. You speak to them about human rights, he says. Okay? And move from text to context to understand life. And that is human rights. One concept is justice. The second one is the rule of law. The third one, they speak about technology. Then that, okay. Very interesting. Should the technology dehumanize us? My only question to you is, our younger generation, we say it's the most connected generation. But I will ask you a question. In the name of connectivity, are the most disconnected generation? Just ask for yourself the question. In the name of connectivity, are they most disconnected? Right. Do they suffer from a dreadful disease called digital alienation? Because there is a lot of difference between loneliness and privacy. Do the youngsters feel lonely? To what extent are parents and teachers responsible for that? Yes, the teachers are supposed to go the extra foot forward to establish connectivity with the students. Remember, which is very, very important. And here in this context, a teacher must remember that like a mother at home, I always say, a mother has the God-given ability to find the 25th hour in the day. Whichever 25th hour in the day to take care of your family. You agree with me? Out of gratitude, you are having seen. That means some personal experiences for you where your mother have reached. Because that's what mother is. Rabindranath Tagore said, God created mother maybe because he cannot represent everything. See, the sun rises even on Sundays. Is there a Sunday for sun? For mother also, she rises on Sundays. Is there a Sunday for mother? Is there a holiday for mother? All holidays are holy days for mother. And after every family member eats food, she will be the last one to eat if it has something is left. Otherwise, she will not eat. There are no working hours for her. You are not a bank clerk or a bank officer to say, 2 o'clock, the counter is closed, you come tomorrow. Now I bring the role of a teacher. For a teacher, there are no working hours. Remember. A teacher like sun should rise even on Sundays. As somebody said, the day on which you feel you need not go to your office on Sunday, you are finished. The day on which you feel that you need not go to the office on holiday or Sunday, because every day should be like a holiday. You must enjoy what you are doing. You understand it? That person, I see 45 years of experience of teaching and telling you, even the most powerful rowdies who were dreaded, they used to fall at my feet. All because I used to follow the one principle in life. What is that? Choose the power of love over love of power. Choose the power of love over love of power. I find the word in my department. Sir, I used to tell my seniors, we should discard the use of the word head of the department. You must substitute with the word heart of the department. You must substitute with the word heart of the department. Because Portia long ago said, Maxinta Venis, you must have a functioning heart and not a functioning brain. so that justice doesn't become a category. All of us have functioning brains. Otherwise, you would not have got your doctorate. You would not be comfortably sitting in an air-conditioned hall at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, listening to the lecture of a fellow masquerading as an intellectual. 99% of the Indians are basking there under the sun. So, you are qualified, yes, because you have a functioning brain. But how many of you have a functioning heart? A teacher is one who has a functioning heart. With your heart, you must reach. Because speaking about technology, Satya Nadella, what's his name? Satya Nadella. He said, we live in an age of innovation. I live in an age of innovation. Of course, that's a different thing. But we today live in an age of innovation. But Satya Nadella says, by innovation, I mean empathy turned into action. That's the definition he gives to innovation. Empathy turned into action. A teacher should have that empathy. Two qualities a teacher should have. What are those? In the morning I said you must be a lifelong learner. But passion for what you do and compassion for whom you do. Passion for what you do and compassion for whom you do. Therefore, when you look at technology, take advantage of technology. But that is not dehumanizing. Now everyone is talking about artificial intelligence. I will not keep you away from that for long. I like to wait. Okay? Because I want to say, you have got the first call. Okay. Right. The last point I'd like to tell you. Artificial intelligence. I know after the nonsense man, all-Indian man, I wanted to understand the meaning of this artificial intelligence. I consulted people from Indian Institute of Sciences, IITs. Nobody could explain to me, to my satisfaction. Then, divine intervention. I was invited as a judge for a debate competition in Bombay, conducted for 9th and 10th class students. Because that school only had up to 10th class. Okay. A young girl came and she gave me the definition of artificial intelligence. And she said, by artificial intelligence I mean an attempt to mechanize human thoughts. That's all she said. An attempt to mechanize human thoughts. But then, the same girl, I put her my head before the head. She said, can all human thoughts be mechanized? Can all human thoughts be mechanized? Impossible, she said. And she said, artificial intelligence is in itself not dangerous unless it is coupled with natural stupidity. She said, all said and done, we call it artificial intelligence, not natural intelligence. Please remember that. It is only human beings who have natural intelligence. And therefore, don't make artificial intelligence a Frankenstein. This is the word she used. So many technological innovations have come taken place. Right from the day of steam engine. In fact, we are now in the age of 4th industrial revolution, 5th industrial revolution. First industrial revolution was steam engine. Second industrial revolution was the electrification. Third industrial revolution was computerization, computers, computation, etc. The fourth industrial revolution is artificial intelligence. Therefore, people say the first 3 industrial revolutions are product revolutions. Steam engine, electrification, computers. But fourth industrial revolution is the systems revolution. You have robots, you have Internet of Things, you have artificial intelligence. But remember, Klaus Schwab, the president of World Economic Forum, who wrote a book called The Fourth Industrial Revolution, he says, robot can replicate a brain, but the robot cannot replicate a human heart, which is full of passion. A robot cannot replicate a soul, which is full of creativity. Human heart and human soul can never be replicated. Therefore, don't be dominated by technology. Let there be new human renaissance. It's the word he uses. Let there be new human renaissance. And in my opinion, the starting point for new human renaissance should be your respective classrooms. God bless you all. Thank you very much for giving me this. I will have some great thoughts, okay? And when you read national education policy, read from this perspective. Okay? God bless you.